this story, you have to realize from the beginning of when Joseph died and a king came who didn't know Joseph, and then when Moses is born, there's about 400 years here. A lot of this time is going on in between the lines that we're reading in this story. And just think about it, that the Pharaoh put something in place by way of policy to limit the amount of children being born. You have to have at least 10 years or so to be able to recount and re-look around and measure up whether or not your plans were working. And so he afflicts them harder, and then he sees again, they're still growing and having just as many babies. So this is years and years and years, likely handed down onto the next Pharaoh and the next Pharaoh and the next Pharaoh, each being more intense and each trying to be a more stringent in the policy than the last. And we get to this point, we don't know which Pharaoh it is and whether it's the same Pharaoh that told the midwives this, but I think it was. He calls them in and says, you are not abiding by the terms of the commandment that I gave to you. He called the midwives, verse 18. Enough time had passed for him to be able to see that there's just as many 5-year-old boys as there are 5-year-old girls running around as I go and look over Goshen. He called the midwives and said to them, "Why have you not done this? And why have you let the male children live?" Now, remember, these ladies, these are the heroes of the story. I want you to see here not a timid lie that they're trying to tell. They are going to be giving us an example of righteous, commendable deception, of boldness, of gutsiness, and just a hint of some Hebrew sass. Okay? Here's their first answer. It's not even necessary. They could have lied without this, but they just throw it in because they have that glorious sass about them. Look at what they say, verse 19. Well, the Hebrew midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They're vigorous and give birth before the midwife comes to them." They didn't have to compare the Egyptian women. They didn't have to say any of that, But what it's coming across to Pharaoh is this kind of backhanded slap before they move on to onto their full-blooded lie is, your women are fat and lazy. Ours aren't. That's why. This is the first recorded yo mama joke ever in all of history. Well, you Egyptian mamas, you're lying back, you got your epidural, you got your TV on, you got the pain meds, you're in a soft bed. But these Hebrew ladies, they're just popping them out left and then back to kneading the unleavened bread. Okay, we are just more gutsy and energetic, and that's the problem. I mean, do you want me to change nature, Pharaoh? What can I do? I love that that's there. Anybody that reads this knows that they're taking a risky shot here. They're pushing back with just enough sass to show that don't call us in here and try and tell me what to do again. Now, I don't know why they didn't use that line. You're a man. You're going to try and tell me, a midwife, how to do my job. Have you ever seen a birth, Pharaoh? No, never. No, I'm sorry. Go back. Do what you want. I don't want to be there. I'm not going to see it. I was thinking about this. It's funny. I did not ask permission to tell this story, and I will anyway. At the birth of my second son, so you all know who I'm throwing under the bus here. If verse 19 is true, my wife's Hebrew. We went into the hospital, and the midwives did not have time to make the bed or administer the Panadol before I had caught my child from my standing wife, and we had to I was lucky I watched WWE as a kid, fireman throw her onto the bed, holding the football baby still attached. We were in there not 5 minutes. I was going to go move the car, and I thought, I'll help her in bed first. And before she was in, there was our boy. Out. So it's not that this thing doesn't happen. Okay, those midwives, I almost rocked out this verse right at the ladies there in the mine. I go, "You Egyptian lazy fat." No, I didn't though. I didn't, because I was a modern man. I was there in the birth room, and I caught him. I think I'm the hero of that story. I'm pretty sure that's how it'll go down.